G'day guys and welcome back to your English Aussie. The FA Cup quarterfinals have concluded and we now know who are going to be in the semi-finals. I'm now going to tell you why Wildcard 30 is so important to play this week. I'm going to talk you through all of the different strategies, including showing you my wildcard team. And I'll talk you through the strategies for if you don't have AM, if you have an assistant manager, if you don't have a free hit. And I'm going to talk you through all the potential blanks and doubles as well. We'll start off right now with the potential blank double game week schedule. I have edited Ben Krellin's spreadsheet a little bit to update it to post FA Cup. Maybe a simpler view for you guys. Feel free to screenshot this and take this away. A simpler view for you guys is here. What we can see is that Manchester City did beat Bournemouth and Aston Villa did beat Preston North End, which means they will most likely double in game week 33. I don't see this double going into 36, given that likely if those teams do reach the final of the FA Cup, that will be in game week 37. They will also then blank then. The only real game week for them to push that fixture into is back into 36, so it makes the most sense for this double to be put into 33. Similar for Arsenal Crystal Palace, they can't fit those games in anywhere in the midweek due to Villa being in the Champions League, Arsenal being in the Champions League, so those games will most likely go straight into double game week 33. With Nottingham Forest Brentford, it's unlikely that gets moved to game week 33 or game week 35, given that Nottingham Forest play on the Monday of both of those game weeks, and they will then be playing on the following Saturday after that. For me, it looks most likely that will stay in game week 34 as a single game week fixture midweek. Again, it's unlikely to go into game week 36, in my opinion, given that if they do progress to the final, they will blank in 37, and most likely that fixture will move back into game week 36. If you are wondering why I am streaming from a slightly different location this week, I do have my Cyprus cricket hat on, and I am out in Cyprus playing for the national team. It's been a good week so far. If you guys want a bit more detail on that, feel free to DM me for some questions. Moving on to the next slide. This is just another visual representation of roughly what I expect things to happen. Obviously, that Nottingham Forest and Brentford in game week 36, I do actually expect to be in game week 34 and them not to be blanking and it just to be a single game week fixture for them. All the doubles you see here in game week 32, Newcastle and Palace, and game week 33, City, Villa, Palace and Arsenal are the doubles that I'm expecting. Moving through here, and this is where I give you the strategy that you should use for all of the different chip situations. Now, first up on here, I do have, if you don't have a free hit available, for example, if you did free hit in game week 29, this would be my suggestion for you for a game week 30 wildcard. We did see in the Man City versus Bournemouth game, so the results of that quarterfinal were Man City beating Bournemouth, Aston Villa beating Preston North End, Crystal Palace beating Fulham, and Nottingham Forest beating Brighton. Given that Man City did beat Bournemouth, during that game, in the middle of the game, Erling Haaland did come off with a slight ankle injury. I would recommend, therefore, that it's unlikely that he starts in game week 30 for Manchester City, and I would suggest going with Marmoush on that wildcard team for the sort of triple City fixtures in game week, double City fixtures in game week 33. What I'd look to do if you don't have a free hit is actually to have about 6 double game week players in game week 33, including 3 Newcastle players that do double in game week 32. So that would be 3 Newcastle, 3 Crystal Palace, and another 3 double game week 33 players. What I would recommend is that you do have Henderson in goal for game week 33 and Raya for Arsenal also in goal for game week 33. That can be one of your 6 double game week 33 players. That means that when you do use your bench boost in game week 33, given that because you don't have a free hit, you can't go to 12, 13, 14 doublers, as you won't be able to field a team in 34. What you can do is get that one extra doubler in game week 33 bench boost by having 2 goalkeepers. And then when you do get into game week 34, you can easily substitute one of those goalkeepers out to have a playing goalkeeper. You also get that nice extra doubler on the bench boost in 33. 31, I would roll the transfer, no chip. Your team for 30 and 31 should look really nice. 32, again, if you can, try to roll your transfers. Save them up for game week 33, 34. In 33, you'd hope that all of your players are still fit. You can again roll the transfer through and play your bench boost in that game week, having Raya and Henderson to be able to utilise an extra doubler on the bench. In game week 34, hopefully you'll have around 3-4 free transfers. You'll be able to remove a lot of those double game week 33 players and have a full starting 11 for game week 34 and going forwards. I'd recommend you start to move towards maybe Nottingham Forest and Brentford players where their fixtures become quite nice from 35 to the end of the season. If you have a free hit available and you don't have the assistant manager chip, my recommendation is to go with 9 game week 33 doublers. This is the option that I'm going to be using, and I will show you my wildcard team just after this. I recommend 3 Man City, 3 Crystal Palace, including Morgan Rogers as a nice filler for the Aston Villa double game weekers, Raya as a nice filler for having a Henderson and Raya bench boost again in 33. It would be the same tactic. And also Gabriel has another Arsenal player for that double in 33. Of course, you could look to be bringing Saka in at this time. For me, I think with the Champions League games coming up, I don't think Saka's going to be playing as many minutes as we would expect over the next few weeks. I'd actually look to transfer him in game week 33 to get a couple of extra doublers for that game week. For me, I think Saka would be a good transfer in game week 33. Sorry to the Arsenal fans, but I do expect Arsenal to lose to Real Madrid in the Champions League and then to be only in one competition where Saka will likely play in more Premier League games to the end of the season. He'll also have the time to get his fitness up to scratch. Again, I'd roll the transfer in game week 31. As you'll see when I pull up my wildcard team, the 31 team looks really nice. The 32 team, again, similar sort of areas. And I would look to use the triple captain in game week 32, unless you want to take a risk and hold it for 36. Hope Man City get to the FA Cup final, and then also double in 36. Potentially Haaland's back fit. You can transfer him in and look to use the triple captain on him in 36. Again, in 33, I'd look to bring in a few more doublers, transfer out those Newcastle players that you want in game week 32. I'll show you guys all this stuff. AM-wise, it's quite a similar team in my opinion. The only difference is you won't be able to bench boost in 33, as I'd recommend playing the AM chip from 31 to 33. Maximise, hopefully, Palace being 5 places behind Brighton in 31. Potentially look for that points boost on Glasner. Same with the double game week for Palace in 32. Again, you could look to use it on Glasner with a double points boost for Newcastle and Man City. Hopefully they will still be 5 places above Palace. And then in game week 33, you can use one of your transfers to sub Glasner to the best manager that's doubling in that game week, or potentially the best manager that you want to use for a points boost. Game week 34, you can use your free hit. And then 35, 36, you can bench boost. If it is the case that Nottingham Forest don't play versus Brentford in the single game week in 34 and they do move that double to 36, you could consider going for a Flecken and Sells as your goalkeepers instead of Raya and Henderson, given that you're looking to bench boost in 35, 36 and hope that the double goes in there. Again, Nottingham Forest defensive fixtures are really nice, so this could be an option. And then your 3 Palace players just don't include Henderson. You could potentially go for Munoz, Sarr and Mateta there, which would be really nice. So next up, and what I want to show you is my wildcard team. I'll pull it up on screen now and show you guys what it is looking like. Here we've got what it looks like in game week 30. So I do have Henderson in goal, Munoz at the back, and Mateta as my 3 Palace players who double in 32 and 33. I have 3 Newcastle players in Jacob Murphy, Alexander Isak, and Dan Burn, who will all double in game week 32. My 3 Manchester City players at the moment are Kusanov, Savinho, and Mamouche. Given that Haaland came off with an injury after that Man City game, I have removed him from my team and gone for Mamouche for the upcoming game weeks and going forwards towards that double. I would say that Savinho did miss that game against Bournemouth. It was because of the birth of his child. It wasn't due to injury, so do expect him to come back into the team this week in game week 30. Kusanov could potentially go to a Gvardiol, last minute doing some changes after the Man City Bournemouth result. I think that probably moves to a Gvardiol for me at the back. So that's 3 Palace doublers, 3 Man City doublers. And then my other doublers are Raya on the bench, Gabriel on the bench, and Morgan Rogers on the bench for Arsenal and Villa. Those would be my 9 game week 33 doublers, along with 3 Newcastle players that double in 32, along with Mo Salah as the 13th man. And then the 2 other players that I do have in here are Justin Kluivert and Milos Kerkez. They do have some really nice fixtures over the next 2 weeks. They got Ipswich, which I'd like to target, and then West Ham after that. I like the look of both of those guys in those 2 game weeks. If we then look into game week 31, the team still looks really nice. Again, we're just rolling transfers through to this game week. We'd have Raya in goal, Kerkez, Burn, Gvardiol most likely at the back. Murphy against Leicester, Kluivert against West Ham, Salah against Fulham, Savinho in that side, Mamouche up front leading the line, Isak and Mateta in some fantastic form. If we go ahead to game week 32, and it was playing up a little bit with some of these subs, but you can see we have the triple Palace double game week, we have the triple Newcastle double game week, and then we've got Gabriel, Kluivert, Rogers against Southampton, Salah against West Ham, and Mamouche up top against Crystal Palace. And with a nice bench as well, so we do have that sort of coverage for a bit of pep roulette. Potentially something happens and one of these guys moves out. I would like to use my triple captain this week on Alexander Isak. I think he would be really nice to use it on with the double against Man United and Crystal Palace. Up into game week 33, obviously all the doubles haven't popped up yet as we speak. Likely I'd look to use at least 2 transfers here, move out my Newcastle players, so it would be Watkins out for Isak, Isak out for Watkins even, and Jacob Murphy out for Bukayo Saka. That would end up having Raya doubling, Munoz, Gabriel, Kusanov, Saka, Rogers, Savinho, Mateta, Mamouche, Watkins and Henderson, with 4 players in this team not doubling, which would be Salah, Burn, Kerkez and Kluivert. You definitely could look to go for one more doubler. Potentially you look to go for an Aston Villa player. But for me, I think I'm comfortable as it stands. I think the other players have some nice fixtures. I don't see the value of going for sort of another Villa doubler with Newcastle and Man City. I think 11 is really nice out of your 15. You would have had Salah anyway, so the bench boost does definitely give you an extra doubler in your team. So that is really nice, along with the 2 double goalkeepers. Into game week 34, I would free hit. I don't really have the team done up for that, so I'll skip through that. Game week 35 again starts to look quite nice. Be looking to start to bring in some of those Nottingham Forest players, some of those Brentford players that have some nice fixtures. So Mbeumo Wood and Milenkovic would start to come into the team. And then again, I think you just work your way through 35, 36, 37, 38 as we go through. Obviously, if Brentford and Nottingham Forest do double in any of the other game weeks, then again, this is even more useful for you guys. I think that sort of clears up what I'd be looking to do over the next couple of game weeks. Hopefully that helps you guys out with your transfer plans, your thoughts on wildcard. Please comment below if you've got any of your wildcard teams that you want me to rate. Let me know if you have any comments on this wildcard team, any changes that you would make. If you have enjoyed this video, please give us a like, subscribe to the channel. It's just a small thing for you guys, but it really does make a huge difference to my channel, so I would really appreciate it. I've tried to get this video out ASAP for you after the FA Cup, so if you do have any other questions, chuck them below in the comments. Let me know what your teams are, let me know what your plans are, and I'll do my best to help you. I will be live streaming on Tuesday, so keep an eye out for that. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great week. Good luck. Up the Cyprus. Let's go.